Welcome! In this video we're going to be taking a quick look at Reaper, the new legendary grade DPS class Elune that is coming out now, and Elune after the 2.4.0 patch. Looking at her base stats at 6 stars level 60, she has a decent 24.2k HP, a very nice 5.7k attack, and decent 3k physical defense as well as 3.1k magic defense. Her attack speed at 108 does put her about in the mid-range for attack speed, so she's not too slow, meaning that you can make her pretty fast. As she has transcended up to the max at +5, her stats go up to a very decent 43.5k HP, 10.3k, almost 10.4k attack, and 5.4k PDEF, 5.6k MDEF. This leaves her with very decent stats for being able to survive some nuking attempts, but also making her quite powerful for her damage because she is DPS. The 43.5k HP isn't too bad, as it does give her pretty good survivability against attacks. Looking at her skills now, her first skill, the normal skill, Devil's Claw. This skill attacks 2 times, dealing a total of 140 plus 110% of physical damage. If the target is marked with her assassination target, it inflicts a curse effect that causes despair for 1 turn. Some things to note, we'll go over assassination target when we get to her passives. The other thing to note here is that this skill, along with all of her skills, are back targeting skills, meaning they cannot target the front line. She can only target the back with her skills. As the skill is leveled up to the max at 6, the damage goes up to a very nice 1110 plus 158% of her physical damage. This makes this skill very good. Of course, the despair is still only for 1 turn, but this skill does provide a type of debuff if what she is attacking has the assassination target on it. Looking at her special skill, Rupture. Rupture, again, is a back target only. You can attack anything in the back. Single target only, though. The skill, again, strikes 2 times and deals 230 plus 170% of her attack as physical damage. If the target is marked with her assassination target passive, then the attack will always land as a crit and inflict 3 stacks of a physical effect that bleeds for 2 turns. As the skill is leveled up to the max, the damage goes up to a very nice 1700 plus 241% of her attack as physical damage. If they do have that mark now, it goes to a 3 stacks of the physical bleeding effect for 3 turns, meaning that they will take lots of DOT damage from those bleeding effects. Looking at her ultimate skill, and one of the skills that's going to make her very strong and hard to deal with, especially in PvP battles, but also making her very useful for PvE content in certain situations, especially Chaos Tower. This one is a back only again, and it deals 370 plus 280% of the attack as physical damage. The skill also instantly kills the enemy target marked as assassination target. If the enemy is immune to an instant kill, then she will gain 1 soul and reduce the cooldown of this skill by 1 turn. So, unlike other Elunes that gain damage from instant kill immunity against bosses, this instead gives 1 soul to your team after it consumes the 6, and then reduces the cooldown by 1, meaning that she can use the skill again more often. As the skill is leveled up to the max at 6, then it goes up to a very high 2340 plus 390% of her attack as physical damage. This skill will instantly kill any marked target, but now if the enemy is immune, it goes up to gaining 2 souls instead. Still, the cooldown is only reduced by 1 turn, meaning that you cannot use it every turn. You have to use it every other turn, but it still gives 2 souls, meaning that once you consume 6, you get 2 back, meaning that it only consumed 4 at the end. But you still have to have the 6 to be able to use it. Now let's look in at her passives. Her first passive, Seize Target. This one selects the target with the highest attack speed in the back row as the assassination target at the beginning of each wave. The assassination target cannot dodge the Reaper's attacks or resist any of her debuffs. When the assassination target is killed, another assassination target is selected in her next turn. A new assassination target cannot be selected before the current target is killed. What this means is anything in the back row, the enemy of the Reaper, whichever one has the highest attack speed in the back row, will be chosen as the assassination target at the beginning of her turn. When that happens, then she can move, meaning that anything with the highest attack speed in the back with the assassination target, which in many cases for PvP is going to be Trent, then she will be able to kill Trent instantly using her ultimate skill if she has the 6 soul required to do that. This means that she can kill the Trent right away on turn 1. But if, for example, there are other Elunes back there, then she will be able to instantly kill them. If there's only one Elune, then it obviously has the highest attack speed. Once that is done, then it goes to the front line, and then she can use whatever skill, and it'll apply the passive accordingly based on the highest attack speed for the first one. And then it'll do that after each one, so it'll go down in that. What this also means, though, is that with the assassination target on it, they cannot resist debuffs whenever she attacks, nor can they evade the attacks. This means that she always will land her attacks on there and you don't have to worry about an evasion. This also means that they can't resist her debuffs, which is good because she does have a debuff on her normal skill as well. So this means that she will always be able to apply that debuff, that despair debuff, onto the target that she does as long as they have this assassination target there. The passive number 2. This one evades all enemy attacks when she is in the back row and if there's a surviving ally in the front row. Meaning that if you have her in the back row and you have a single tank in the front, once that single tank is killed, then this passive will no longer come into play and she'll be able to be attacked and she will no longer evade damage. However, if you run a 4-man front and a single person in the back and have her in the back, then she will evade all the damage until all 4 of the front targets are killed, meaning that she will be very difficult to kill if you run her that way, and she can survive for quite a long time. Her third passive. This passive is a passive that deals additional damage. When she kills an enemy, then it'll deal 100% of her attack as physical damage to any adjacent enemies on both sides, and will also inflict them with a weakening effect that increases the damage they receive by 50% for 3 turns. This means if she kills something that's surrounded by other enemy targets, then she will then do damage to them and put a weakening effect on them that increases the damage they receive by 50%, which is very good as this can help your other allies kill the target very effectively. Her skills do seem quite strong, but of course she still needs to be able to move. Having the ability with her second passive to evade attacks means that she might be difficult to deal with in terms of targeting and being able to hit things, but also she also has her instant kill ability that she'll be able to use fairly often, so getting to her to kill her is going to be important. This means that the way that you put up your team layout and their formation is going to be important to keeping her alive. So keeping her on the back row is going to be something that you're going to want to do because you're going to want her to have as much survival as possible by having her in the back to evade all of the attacks that she has to deal with. As she is a nuking unit and her ultimate skill is an instant kill skill, then having high attack on her is still good for her other abilities, but you're going to want her with some decent survivability, but it's not so much needed as that she evades all attacks until basically everything on the front row is dead. So you can go with a full DPS option with her to make sure that she has that very high amount of attack so that she can do massive damage. For Dimension Slate on her, you're going to probably want to focus on attack speed so that she can move very frequently and quickly in the battle to get off those skills. You'll also want to get a lot of attack on her and whatever crit rate and crit power you can get. That way she can do as much damage as possible. Because of her second passive giving the ability to evade attacks until there is nothing left on the front row, this means that you don't have to focus so much on survival, as she will be able to survive anyway because of the evasion that she does to attacks. This makes her much easier to gear up, as well as what you can focus on with the Dimension Slate. In terms of gear, something you might want to consider is something like the Great Spirit set or the Violent set, because they allow her to move an additional turn. This means that she will be able to kill a target and then get an additional turn to potentially cause other effects on another target or to attack another target so she can kill it too quickly. You can run full damage sets on her, but since her primary ability for killing targets like Congrim is going to be his instant kill ability, then you don't need as much to worry about for those, but having it will be nice because you will want to use her as a good damage dealer. For the skill gems, let's take a look at the skill gems. On the first one, the skill gem effect is a 5% chance to stun the target for 1 turn. As the skill already does a despair and has other unique abilities, just going with more damage on the skill or higher crit rate could be recommended, because the skill gems are going to be red, red, and orange. The 5% chance to stun isn't needed so much on her, as the skill already does provide a decent debuff of despair. You can go instead for a more damage build or skill gemmed out set for this normal skill. Her special skill, the skill gem set, is red, red, orange again, and this has a 5% chance to panic the target for 2 turns. The panic skill is a very nice thing to put on there, but you do not have to do it. This skill again also causes a bleeding already, so you do not need to add another debuff to it, and going with something like more attack can just make the bleeding effect better and making it more severe to the enemy that you target with this. Going with the higher crit rate on the orange is also good. Her ultimate skill, the recommended on this one, is red, red, violent, meaning for physical attack and speed. This has a 10% chance of gaining 2 souls after killing an enemy. This isn't needed too much, but you can go for it. But you can also go for just more raw physical damage with her by just going with a full set of red, making this skill hit harder. As this skill does instantly kill any enemy target marked with the assassination target skill, though, you do not have to worry solely on damage or crit rate, as this skill should be used only to instantly kill a target and not be used as just a damage skill. Similar to Congrim's ultimate skill 2, you should be using it for the instant kill ability that it has, and not so much just for its damage. Unless of course you're using her in PvE, then of course you'll want the damage. So going with the red, red, violent could be viable, as this you do have a small chance of getting 2 souls after killing an enemy. This can make the skill a little bit more useful. That's going to be it for this one. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'll answer them as soon as I can. Thank you.